Hey guys, welcome back to another Onslaught devlog. In this video, I'll show you how I made Onslaught highly replayable with just a single system. If you don't know what Onslaught is, it's a side-scroller hack and slash where you fight for survival against hordes of monsters. You actively switch between 3 characters, using each of their abilities to efficiently wipe out each wave of enemies. Up until this point, Onslaught has just been about survival. But what if there was a way to not only survive during a run, but also thrive? It all started when I stumbled across a video by Blargus, a fellow game dev YouTuber. In his video, he talked about the formula for replayable games. Just by adding a timer to his game, Blood Thief, his playtesters were motivated to play again in order to beat their best time. Add on a leaderboard, and there was even more of an incentive because you could see and beat the times of other players. This got me thinking about how I could adapt this to Onslaught. Onslaught isn't a speedrunning game, so a timer wouldn't be suited for it. However, I realized that an arcade-style score system would suit the game quite well. A score and leaderboard system would strongly incentivize players to improve their skills and compete for high scores. In order to figure out how to structure the score system, I need to consider the player behavior I want to reward. From there, I can figure out how to give points to players who play in the desired way. It turns out that the behavior I want to incentivize boils down to 2 things. I want to encourage players to kill enemies as quickly as possible, and players should try and take as little damage as possible. My first thought was to give the score system a combo multiplier that goes up every time you get a kill. After a certain duration of not getting a kill, your multiplier decays down to the previous combo. And if you take damage, your combo resets completely. I thought this would work well, until I realized that this would encourage you to kite enemies around until they're all spawned, and then kill them. Especially on easier difficulties, this creates the opposite effect of what I want. Additionally, because you just need 4 kills to get to the max multiplier, resetting your combo when taking damage doesn't set you back as much as it should. So my first idea failed on both counts. After that idea fell through, I was stumped. But whenever I get stuck on a problem, I always get input from other people to get a fresh perspective. So I consulted with a couple of friends, and one person suggested just removing the timer and just have the multiplier build up every so many kills, then reset when you take damage. This gives a bigger emphasis on not taking damage, which is good, and it removes the issue of encouraging you to wait for enemies to spawn. However, with no timer on it, it doesn't give any bonuses for rapid kills either. Plus, this has a very static score cap, with no extra optimization or small score margins. All you have to do to get the max score is to not take damage and you're set. That means all leaderboards will be tied for first by many players, which is no fun. I discovered that there's one more piece of the puzzle that enhances this basic system to work well. I can have enemies worth a certain amount, let's say 100 points, when they spawn. However, the longer they're alive, the less points they're worth, decaying to maybe around half of their original value. Now, not only does the score system encourage not taking damage, but it also significantly encourages rapidly killing enemies. I realized that if there was a basically unlimited combo max, then you would have no hope of getting a decent score if you took damage even once. So instead of having a ton of combo tiers, I think it'll work better to max out the combo meter quicker and have only a few tiers. Now that I've got the basic score system figured out, it's time to actually put it into the game. Alright, I think I finally landed on what the combo system will approximately look like. Though, because this is a prototype and I've been playing around with so many different ideas, the code is complete spaghetti, so let me fix that.
One eternity later.
Yikes, that took a lot longer than I thought. Thankfully, everything is working properly now and the code is all cleaned up. And I hooked up the score to actually be based on killing the enemies rather than pressing a button. Now that you can actually get a score on your run, you need to be able to see that score on the results screen. So I added your score and high score to the upper right, and to keep things symmetrical, I also added a panel that displays the area and difficulty on the left. When you get a new best, I added some blorpy text to tell you. As Abraham Lincoln famously said, "Blorpy text is pretty cool." Def worth a like on the video IMO. Bro, who wrote this script? I need to fire that guy. Anyway, in my video about the Onslaught playtest, I explained about how I added 2 tiers of completion, a green border for surviving the level, and a gold border for taking no damage. But with this new score system, I want to add medals that are earned by getting good scores. But I definitely don't want to manually set all the medal scores, so I made a function to calculate the scores for me. The best way to make these medal scores consistent is to make each medal score a percentage of the theoretical perfect score. In order to do this, I first need to get the total number of enemies, then tally up the score for each one, making sure to account for the different levels of score multipliers. Once I have the maximum possible score, then I can multiply the maximum score by the medal's percentage to get each medal score. This gives me a nice list of medal scores. As you can see, there are 5 medals: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and chrysolite. Now it's time to actually put the medals and scores into the game. I knew I wanted to add a panel to the difficulty screen, but I wasn't exactly sure how to lay it out. So I decided to make some mock-ups using basic shapes to get a feel for what the screen would look like. I landed on this design. And here's how that looks in-game. The rank and top percentage is hard-coded right now, though. It's time to actually set up Steam leaderboards. I added a leaderboard tab and populated it with some fun fake entries to get the layout working. It shows the top 10 scores, then below that, the 5 scores around you. You can also filter the list by friends. With the layout complete, I made a system to make asynchronous calls to the Steam server to get the real leaderboard scores. The score system will take lots of little adjustments before it's all the way done. While editing the video, I've already made some balancing changes. I made the score system consistent for any number of players, and lowered the number of kills required to get to the next combo levels. Additionally, I made the boss score scale with difficulty, and the boss's score is no longer affected by your combo multiplier. Thankfully, I have plenty of time to continue tweaking the score system to make it perfect before Onslaught's release. Speaking of Onslaught's release, you should wishlist Onslaught on Steam now so you don't miss when it comes out. And subscribe to follow Onslaught's progress. Adding the score system has made Onslaught even more fun and much more replayable, so thanks Blarg for the awesome video that inspired me. I've left the link to his video in the description if you want to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.